Hello and welcome to another English lesson. Today we will begin our lesson by watching a small act.
आज ही बुन के कंप्लीट हुआ है, इसको बेचूंगा बराबर भाव में।
भैया साड़ी दिखाइए ना। हाँ हाँ आइए मैडम देखिए, बहुत अच्छा है, एकदम अच्छा माल है, मैंने खुद इसको बनाया। कितने का दिया भैया? ये सिर्फ 600 रुपये मैडम। नहीं ये तो बहुत महंगा बोल रहे हैं आप, इतना नहीं, आप इसको 350 में दे दीजिए, ठीक है? नहीं मैडम, कम कम तो नहीं होगा। नहीं, 600 रुपये एकदम सही है। अरे क्या भैया, हो जाएगा, इतना कम तो क्या, ज़्यादा कम नहीं बोल रही हूँ मैं, हो जाएगा इतना, अच्छा है, इतने का ही मिलता है दूसरे दुकान में। कम से कम 550 मैडम, इससे कम नहीं होगा, बिल्कुल कम नहीं होगा मैडम। अरे भाई साहब, हो जाएगा 350 में, क्या आप भी।
बहुत मेहनत हुई है इसको सिलने में, लेकिन क्या करूं, पहला कस्टमर है।
ठीक है मैडम, 350 में ले जाइए, 350।
इन्हें क्या पता मुझे कितनी मेहनत हुई है इसको सिलने में। सिर्फ 20 रुपए का प्रॉफिट हुआ। जाने देता हूँ, कोई बात नहीं।
हाँ लाइए, अभी पैक कर दीजिए इसको, मैं ले जाऊंगी। बोला था ना हो जाएगा कम, इतने का ही साड़ी है। थैंक यू। So students, I am sure you must have imagined your mom or dad in the same situation, right? We saw in this little act how the customer bargains with the seller and how that could impact the shopkeeper's income. Today we will be reading a similar story of a weaver and a mischievous buyer. The story is called The Worth of a Fabric. The author of the story remains anonymous, meaning either the author didn't wish to reveal his or her identity or the writer is unknown. So, children, when I read the text, I want all of you to pay attention, alright? Thiruvalluvar was a great Tamil saint poet who lived more than 2000 years ago. Thirukural is the book of his teachings. It is greatly loved and respected even today. Thiruvalluvar was a textile weaver. He wove beautiful fabrics and saris and sold them in the market. People said that he never got angry, never used bad words, never shouted at anyone. In the same town, there lived a rich young man. He wasted most of his time roaming around with his friends. They often made fun of other people. I don't believe what people say about this Valuvar, said the young man one day. I'm sure I can make him angry. Come on, let's have some fun today. So the arrogant young man approached Thiruvalluvar in the market and picked up a beautiful piece of fabric. How much does this fabric cost? He asked. 8 coins. The saint named the price. The young man unfolded the fabric and tore it into two. What's the price of this piece now? 4 coins, the saint answered politely. The youth was taken aback. Why doesn't the man get angry? He thought. He then tore the half pieces into half again. And now 2 coins was the answer. Now it was the young man who became impatient and agitated. He tore the pieces into half again and again, saying, And now? What's the price now? I'm sure all of you paid attention, therefore, all of you will definitely be able to answer these quick questions. So, the first question is, who was Thiruvalluvar? So he was a Tamil saint, a great Tamil saint poet, and he was a textile weaver. Second is, what was the name of his book? The name of his book is Thirukural. And last but not least, what was the cost of the whole fabric? 8 coins. Right? Okay, students, great. Now, moving forward, let's find out who Thiruvalluvar was. I'm sure all of you must be eager to know, right? So, apart from the information provided in the text, he was also a philosopher and was commonly known as Valluvar. He had keen interest in topics like politics, ethics, that is right and wrong, ahimsa, that is non-violence, and education. But there is something to note here. And what is that? There is no certain information about neither his birth nor his works, but mere speculations obtained from Tirukural, that is his book. Now, students, we know that Tiruvalluvar was a textile weaver. Textile meaning cloth or fabric, and he wove beautiful saris and also sold them in the market. So, he manufactured as well as sold them. So, students, look into the text and tell me what was the quality that Tiruvalluvar possessed. So people said that he never got angry, never used bad words, and never shouted at anyone, meaning he was a calm and composed person. Okay, now tell me, who is this other character mentioned in the text? Yes, he is a rich young man. And how is he described? With the words rich and young. Why do you think the author has used these two describing words or adjectives? So that you can immediately imagine how he must look, right? Alright, now tell me what was going on in the young man's mind. Yes, he said, I don't believe what people say about this Valluvar. Okay, he didn't believe that Valluvar could not get angry at anything at all. And he said, I'm sure I can make him angry, right? So, what was on his mind? There was mischief on the young man's mind, right? So, children, we come to the understanding that Thiruvalluvar was a hard-working person who believed in maintaining his composure and was known for being polite in all kinds of situations. He was a person who believed in the values of ahimsa. On the other hand, the young man was a person who lazed around and roamed jobless in the town. He had a habit of making fun of people, which meant that he was careless and did not bother about anybody's feelings. So they were two very different people who possessed completely opposite qualities, right? Now, students, I have a little activity for you, and it's definitely going to be fun. So, you have to react to a situation that I will be mentioning now, okay? And the situation is that your friend broke your favorite pencil box. So, come on, try reacting to this situation.
What is this? Really? This was my favorite compass box, yeah. Was it by mistake? Okay, then if it was by mistake, then it's fine, yeah. Now what I'll do? I'll tell Mama to get a new one for me. What else? Yeah, but don't repeat it, next time. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but
What did you do? You broke my compass. How? It fell? From where? From your hand, na? What sorry? Now you get a new one for me tomorrow. I don't know anything. This was my favorite compass, okay? I want the same compass tomorrow. Anyhow, you get it.
Thank you so much, Sarah and Vanessa, for showing us such a diverse reaction from one another. Now, students, how would you feel if your friend spoke so rudely to you, and how would you feel if your friend spoke to you politely?
When someone speaks politely to me, I really feel that I'm being respected. Is when someone speaks to me rudely, I don't like it.
Yes, very good. So we like it when people are polite to us, right? And when people care about us or our emotions. So we should also try our best to be polite to everyone around us, right? In all kinds of situations. Good. So, students, what could be the main idea of the text that we studied or analyzed till now? Would it be Thiruvalluvar the saint? Would it be Thiruvalluvar and the young man? Or would it be mischievous young man? So the paragraph that we studied spoke about both Thiruvalluvar and the young man, and therefore the right answer is Tiruvalluvar and the young man. The main idea is the second option. Now, children, I have one more activity for you. I want at least a few of you to try your hand at fabric painting. It'll be fun and you'll really enjoy. Come on. Very good, Sharan and Revati. I'm sure both of you put in hard work and thought and love into this piece of art that you created, right? And also, I also believe that you found it really difficult to paint because it's not a refined skill that you possess. You only paint it for fun. So it must be really difficult for you, right? Let's watch a video now and understand the difficulties that the Indian weavers face.
8 അടിയോളം വെള്ളം പൊങ്ങി. ഞങ്ങളുടെ നെയ്ത്തുപകരണങ്ങളിൽ സ്റ്റാൻഡ് മാത്രമേ അവശേഷിച്ചുള്ളൂ. ബാക്കിയെല്ലാം പാടെ നശിച്ചു പോയി. ഞങ്ങളുടെ കെട്ടിടത്തിനൊക്കെ നാശനഷ്ടം വന്ന് ഒന്നും അവശേഷിച്ചിട്ടില്ലെന്ന് തന്നെ പറയാം.
എനിക്കൊരു 10 കൊല്ലമാണ്. എനിക്ക് ഏതാണ്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ 78 കൊല്ലമായി. നിങ്ങൾക്കന്ന് പഠിപ്പില്ല, കാരണന്മാരെ പഠിപ്പിച്ചുമില്ല.
നേരം വെളുത്ത് എൻ്റെ ഈ ഷട്ടിലിൻ്റെ ഒച്ച ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നുള്ളൂ. കൈത്തറി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ 2 കൈയും കാലും കണ്ണും മനസ്സും എല്ലാ അവയവങ്ങളും ഇതിൽ തന്നെ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ച് ചെയ്താൽ ഇതാവുള്ളൂ. കൂലിപ്പണിക്ക് പോയാൽ എങ്ങനെയും 10-600 രൂപ 2 മണിയാകുമ്പോഴേക്കും മേടിക്കും. ഇതിലെങ്ങനെ കിടന്ന് കാണിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാലും ഒരു 250-300 രൂപ അതിൽ കൂടുതൽ കിട്ടൂല. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ആണുങ്ങൾ മുഴുവൻ ഈ രംഗം വിട്ടുപോയത്. പരമ്പരാഗതമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു തൊഴിലാണിത്. ഇന്നും ഇന്നലെ തുടങ്ങിയതല്ല. പണ്ട് ചെയ്തിരുന്ന ഞങ്ങൾ എന്നെ പോലുള്ള കുറച്ച് ആളുകളുടെ കാലം കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കൈത്തറി എന്നുള്ള മേഖല തന്നെ ഇല്ലാണ്ടാവും. വേറെ പുതിയ കുട്ടികളതിലേക്ക് പുതിയത് കടന്നു വന്നാലേ തുടർന്ന് ഇത് പോകാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ.
A very heart touching video, isn't it? I particularly liked something the lady said. She said, only if youngsters join will this tradition go forward. What does it mean? That if the youth helps in maintaining the traditional craft, only then it'll move forward and even have a novelty to it, or else the age old crafts that the rural India possesses will become extinct and we will lose something so valuable and beautiful, right? So, students, coming back to your painting, how would you feel if I said that it looks bad, or if I mishandled it, or if I said, ew, it looks pathetic, it's so bad? How would you feel?
I would really get very angry, more like very sad if someone mishandles my drawing or just tears it off or even criticizes it, because I have put in a lot of efforts and it has taken a lot of time also.
If my teacher failed to recognize the hard work that I've put, and if she tore my work, if she tore my art, I'll feel very offended, I'll feel very hurt, and I'll also feel very angry because the efforts that I've taken were not appreciated enough.
Yes, thank you both of you. You're absolutely right. You would definitely feel sad, you would feel angry, and you would even feel like crying. And sometimes you would not talk to me, right? You would be like, no, I'm not going to talk to you because you said that my painting is not nice, or if I mishandled it, I tore it apart, you would be like, no, I'm not talking to you. But that was not the case with Tiruvalluvar. The next bit that we will analyze is a dialogue between Tiruvalluvar and the young man. So here we see that the young man used a tactic to make Thiruvalluvar angry. He kept tearing his fabric into pieces and kept asking Thiruvalluvar its price, and without a sign of anger or rudeness, Thiruvalluvar kept telling him the price, even reducing it by half each time. So, what quality of Valluvar is reflected in this bit? His virtue of tolerance and politeness. Alright, students, so there's a phrase in this text over here which means to be surprised or shocked, so much so that you do not know how to behave for a short time. Some of you must have got it correct. It is the youth was taken aback. The phrase is to be taken aback. Why was he taken aback? Because Thiruvalluvar was not getting angry. Alright, so he was in a shock. And why do you think the young man by the end of it got agitated and impatient? Because Thiruvalluvar remained calm and the young man's tactic failed. Thiruvalluvar proved him wrong. You know, children, this reminds me of a quote by Gandhiji. He said, "In a gentle way, you can shake the world." Isn't it very true to this situation? Okay, children, now I have a question for you. Do you bargain or misbehave with the sellers when you go to the shopping mall? No, right? We buy clothes without ever questioning its price. We see it, we like it, we buy it if it is in our budget. No if, but, how at all. Remember the lady in the beginning, how she bargained with the seller, right? We don't do that in the malls. I'm sure all of us like wearing new clothes and clothes that are in trend. And we also hate to repeat our clothes frequently. Do you know, children, this habit of ours has a devastating effect on the environment? Let's watch a video to find out how.
Fashion is a trillion-dollar industry, and according to the UN, it is also the second biggest polluter. Around 500,000 tons of microfiber clothing is now being dumped into the ocean every year, the same as 3 million barrels of oil. Even in the average household, WRAP estimates that the amount of new clothing bought by one family in a year gives off the same amount of emissions as driving a car for 6,000 miles. And to make, it takes enough water to fill 1,000 bathtubs. Our love of clothes is also contributing to plastic pollution, with one washload of polyester clothes sending up to 700,000 microplastic fibers back into the environment. But do we at least appreciate our clothes once we've bought them? Well, we send around 140 million pounds of our clothes to landfill every single year. And 1 in 6 of us have as many as 5 items in our wardrobe that we've never even worn. So here are some top tips how to break your fast fashion habits. Number 1, get more wear out of your clothes. Even extending the life of your garments by less than a year can make a big difference. If half of us wore our clothes for an extra 9 months, we could cut carbon emissions by 8%. Number 2, get second-hand shopping. Charity shops save over 300,000 tons of old clothes from landfill each year, and online sites where you can buy, sell or swap used clothing are more popular than ever. Number 3, watch your washing. It takes nearly 4,000 litres of water to wash a single pair of jeans over their lifetime. Simply thinking twice about stuffing things in the wash that you've only worn once can reduce the impact your clothes have on the environment, as can washing on a lower temperature. Finally, number 4, get savvy with your shopping. If you are buying new clothes, see what stores have made commitments to combating fast fashion. Some shops are using more recycled material, whereas others offer lifetime repair services or even vouchers for bringing in your old clothes. After all, fashion doesn't just have to be about looking good, it's also about doing good too.
So children, don't you think that this is a major issue which has a very simple solution? It only requires our mindfulness and consciousness while buying clothes. So, children, what can you do to promote the growth of small scale workers and demote the use of fashion brands? I'm sure all of you must have a lot of ideas. Can you share a few?
Fast fashion has changed the way we buy and dispose of clothing. This has badly hit the small scale workers. So, by buying their goods and using it for a longer time, we can also protect the environment, and also it would be a great help for these small scale industries. Fashion is, as it is said in the video, fashion is not about looking good but also doing good too.
Okay, great. So now moving forward, I want you to tell me what is the main idea of the section that we just studied. Is it a dialogue between Valuvar and the young man, or is it young man's tactic, or is it politeness? Now you must have noticed that the paragraph that we studied had all of these elements. But what is the most important one? That the young man was using a tactic to make Thiruvalluvar angry. So the main idea over here is the young man's tactic. Alright children, very good. So in today's lesson we studied about Thiruvalluvar and his politeness that shook the world of the young man. Now I want you to tell me, what do you think is the central idea or the theme that was prevalent throughout the part that we studied till now? Was it laziness versus hard work? Was it fabric weaving in India? Or was it tolerance and patience? Yes, you must have guessed it correct. It is tolerance and patience that we learned through this text. Now, I have a question for you. If you were the author of this story, what would you title it? I'm sure all of you must have a lot of suggestions, and even I have a few suggestions which I would like to share. One of them is Thiruvalluvar the Great Saint. Another could be Story of an Ancient Weaver in India, right? And the last suggestion that I have is Treasures of Politeness. Aren't these nice? Alright. So to summarize, we studied two main ideas, that is first Thiruvalluvar and the young man, and the second being tactic of the young man, and the central idea being tolerance and politeness. We also studied a few difficult words and new words and a phrase. Before ending the lesson, I have a small homework for you, that is to write a dialogue between your father and a vegetable vendor. You can use your creativity and mold the conversation however you wish to. Okay? So, thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.